Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to analyze the live price action for EU and DXY to see what opportunities there may be today. You're going to see my strategy and my analysis, so if you're interested in those then please stick around. Okay, here we are. We're going to start off on the daily. On the top is EU, on the bottom is DXY. Now what's the daily showing us? Yesterday we closed out as a just about bearish doji candle, right? Quite a long wick, quite a long leg. So you could almost call this a low test, I guess, because we did take sell side liquidity from these previous lows around this area here, right? That obviously drove price back up. Yesterday was a news day, so of course price does wick in both directions a lot, but ultimately it just pretty much closed out by the open. So no continuation of that bearish momentum from the previous day. So we could see that form of support going into today. DXY was obviously similar with the same high upper wick, not much of a candle body. Deeper into this daily imbalance, right, taking buy side liquidity from previous day. So far today, we're bullish actually. There's no lower wick just yet at all. Maybe that will form later on in the day. It's not often at all that price will leave itself with no wick on either end. So we'll see what happens there. At the moment, we're bullish. We have previous daily high buy side liquidity immediately above and an imbalance here, which price may actually want to come and fill. So maybe that'll be filled today as a small pullback after all this bearish momentum and sell side liquidity taken yesterday. So let's see what happens there. We have the same here on DXY as well. It may draw price below, and so far we're opened up and we're bearish this morning. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Let's see what that shows us. So there's not much to see on the 4 hour. We're clearly in a lot of discount. Here's where we took the sell side liquidity. Now price has been bullish, and obviously we've got some momentum here this morning. I don't see any immediate POIs here on the 4 hour except for up here and more into the premium up here. Though we have a buy side liquidity target at the previous daily high above us, which price may be heading towards where the daily imbalance is. So this would be where I'd be looking for to see price possibly continue its bearish structure and a short bias back down, possibly this sell side liquidity target here. However, as we know, price is very overextended as it's been very bearish over the last week or 2 weeks. So we may be due a further pullback, but we'll have to see for any resistance points on the 1 hour as well. So structure is still bearish at the moment. I don't see any immediate resistance here on the 4 hour, but there is buy side liquidity available above to target in the short term. The same applies to DXY. No immediate POIs. We mitigated the same 4 hour imbalance as we did above here yesterday before price drove short again and took out this sell side liquidity. So I think that's enough with the 4 hour. Let's go down to the 1 hour and see what that looks like. So looking at yesterday's price action, I've identified this as the leg here. Right, even though this was on a news announcement, we came up, mitigated the buy side liquidity above these highs here, went into a 1 hour order block, respected it, which was also the 4 hour imbalance, drove price down, creating a lower low. So high to a low here. In the short term, I'm seeing this as our leg. We've pulled back to that premium overnight and into London this morning. Now we'll see if we respect this area here or use it for buy side liquidity and then continue lower, as I mentioned on the 4 hour. Right, this price action is fairly corrective here, but most of it's overnight, so we'll see if there's any continued bullish momentum. We may use the buy side liquidity and then continue our trend lower, or this would be an opportunity for price to close above these highs and switch to an internal like bullish pullback. Right, we may search for higher prices. There's a POI here with an imbalance, so we may target that. Everywhere else seems mitigated, but we could potentially pull back to this area as a first obvious sign of resistance on a higher time frame. But I'll see what price does with the previous daily high first, and whether or not we just respect this area and then head for that next week low. So that's the theory. Bias wise, I can see both sides depending on how we respect this area or once we reach this buy side liquidity. Until then, I could probably see us being short-term bullish up until this point. Then I'd reevaluate. As DXY looks fairly bearish, we've swept buy-side liquidity here from above Asia, it seems, and we've been bearish ever since, closing out with that high test bearish candle. So it may target previous daily lows and previous daily highs here on EU. Bias to go both ways today, depending on what price looks like on the lower time frame. Once we're up here, I'll look for shorts, and I would probably get rid of any long bias until price breaks through that confidently. And if we start to break down from here, I would look for shorts. So let's go down to the M15. So I think the M15 looks fairly interesting so far. Our order flow overnight and into London is obviously bullish, right? We've got our high highs, high lows, high highs, high lows, and now a new high above here. So we've got that break of structure after sweeping some internal sell side liquidity here, and then we had some bullish order flow enter the market and momentum, right? So we've left an imbalance and order block below here. We are in a bearish trend, so it is counter trend, but we do have a buy side liquidity target here after taking all that sell side liquidity yesterday. We also have our SMC divergence with our low to high low, whereas DXY had a high to a higher high. So it swept that buy side liquidity, broke the divergence, which indicated weakness and further bearish price. So we've also broken down here on DXY as well. So DXY does look bearish to me and may be targeting the sell side liquidity, as I said, at the previous daily low, if we are to continue in that direction. So let's mark this out, what this would look like. So M15 order block, sweep of internal liquidity, SMC divergence indicating a bullish price, right, which has played out, broken structure around here, and now we could pull back to this order block, potentially corrective like so, and then we'd have our order set here, our order block, stop loss just below the low to target previous daily high or whatever your target would be. So something like this, it could possibly be refined on the M5 further. Possible inducement here, sell side liquidity right above our order, break of structure, internal sell side liquidity with SMC divergence from this order block to head for that buy side liquidity at that premium. So I think that looks good for this morning, going with that counter trend bias, because DXY does certainly look bearish. At the moment, to look for those shorts would be up here at the previous daily high. If we make it there, for price to then sweep that buy side liquidity and then break of structure, pull back to then go low. So something like this, order block left behind, of course, with imbalance, stop loss just above those highs, break of structure around here. So I'll be looking for this, but up there in the opposite direction if the order flow comes in on the M15. So I hope that's clear. I hope you gain value from that. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.